Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to another Thursday Night Live. I'm sorry for the weather delay, but we had a pretty significant thunderstorm roll through here, and so I had to delay tonight's broadcast by an hour. But I'm glad to see you're here. Hello, Jeff Davis. There's my buddy Tyler, Currency Relics. There's Sneaky Pierre and For Collector. Thank you so much for being here. Thank all of you for being here. We're going to start tonight by watching a short video, only about 5 minutes. It'll give you some background information on what we will be looking at tonight. And then I'll be back and we'll take a close-up look at some really good notes. So I'm going to share the screen here. Here we go. Welcome back, collectors, and welcome to Thursday Night Live. Tonight's topic is ghost money, banknotes from towns that died. I have been fascinated with this subject since my friend Dan at Polar Currency made a video a while back about a note from Singapore, Michigan, a banknote from a town that vanished. So I decided to see if I could find notes from other towns that no longer exist. In this video, I will discuss notes from Princeton, Mississippi, Magnolia, Florida, and Hamburg, South Carolina. Princeton, Mississippi was founded in the 1820s and was one of the first towns on the Mississippi Delta. By 1830, Princeton was named the county seat of Washington County. This happened because the first county seat, New Mexico, Mississippi, caved into the Mississippi River. It seems this area kept losing towns to the mighty Mississippi. At its peak, Princeton had 600 residents, 12 stores, an inn, a bank, a private school, and a livery stable. The Lake Washington and Deer Creek Railroad and Banking Company was incorporated in 1836. Gotta love that name. Based in Princeton, the railroad began constructing a line east from the town to Lake Washington and Deer Creek. The intent was to move cotton from the interior to Princeton, where it could be shipped by boat down the Mississippi River. However, the Panic of 1837 would doom this project. The bank was reorganized and renamed the Bank of Mississippi in 1838. By 1850, most of Princeton had caved into the Mississippi River, and the county seat was moved to Greenville. Magnolia, Florida was founded in 1827, just 6 years after Spain ceded Florida to the United States. It was located near the Gulf of Mexico on the St. Marks River, about 20 miles south of Tallahassee, just north of the present-day city of St. Marks. The purpose of this town was to provide a river port for the export of cotton. Cotton was to be delivered to the port from Tallahassee by railroad. However, the rail connection was constructed from Tallahassee to the town of St. Marks instead, thus bypassing Magnolia. This was the beginning of the end for the town. Residents moved away to St. Marks or the nearby town of Port Leon. Even many of Magnolia's buildings were moved to other towns. An 1843 hurricane effectively sealed Magnolia's fate. Today, there is nothing left of the town but a cemetery. The land on which the town once stood is owned by the St. Joe Paper Company today. Hamburg, South Carolina, was founded in 1821. It was located directly across the Savannah River from Augusta, Georgia. The town was founded mostly out of spite. The founder, Henry Schultz, felt he had been cheated by the businessmen of Augusta, and he wanted to teach them a lesson. The plan was to divert as much trade traffic away from Augusta and Savannah to Charleston, a sort of cross-river rivalry. A railroad was even built from Charleston to Hamburg, primarily for the transporting of cotton. This railroad ran for some 136 miles, the longest in the world at that time. But eventually, the railroad was extended across the river to Augusta, and Hamburg would soon become a memory. Several disastrous floods in the area didn't help matters either. Now, there's a lot more to the story of Hamburg. There is even a part two, but I will wait to go into all that in a future video. Well, how did you like that? Before we go on, I see a good number of people have joined us. Thank you for doing that. Banknote Den, Retired Navy Rob is here. Big Apple is in the house. Jeff Davis. Let's see, For Collector, Currency Kids. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it very, very much. Let's take another look at this very interesting note. This is my new favorite note here. Let's see if I can get this up close enough where you might can see that even better. That's called a Hunter by a Stream. But if you'll allow me, I'm going to call that Davy Crockett because he had just passed away at about the time this bank was founded. So now, obviously, I don't know that that's Davy Crockett, but it makes an interesting idea anyway. You got to love the name, the Lake Washington and Deer Creek Railroad Banking Company. What a mouthful. Move this out of the way so you can see it a little better. This note's pretty washed out, but I don't care. It's just a piece of wonderful history. Let's see. Next, let's take a look at this Merchants and Planters Bank at Magnolia, Florida note again. This one's graded 25 by PMG. Let's see. It is comment free. Florida obsoletes are often difficult to come by, so I was lucky to come up on this one. You know, you got to wonder sometimes when you look at a note like this, how it was designed. I mean, probably had one executive that said, "Hey, let's put a founding father on the note. You know, we need that." So they put Benjamin Franklin on it, and then somebody said, "Well, let's put an ancient, astronomer and engineer on there." So they put Archimedes on there, lifting the world. Then another guy says, "Well, we need to put a Roman goddess on there, so we'll put Ceres, the goddess of agriculture." And you got to wonder who that fourth guy was that said, "Hey, can we put a cherub wearing a cape and riding a deer while he's blowing a trumpet?" You got to wonder where that one came from, right? But I love it anyway. Dated 1833. That note's almost 200 years old.
Currency Kid says the Florida shows URS 7, which is 30 to 60 notes remaining. So thank you for that. Not a lot of these. This next note's really pretty. In the Bank of Hamburg, South Carolina. You saw it in the video, but I thought you might want to have a second look at it. I like this vignette. The details in it are really, really interesting. Two men sharpening a scythe and people working in the fields, and see animals and farm implements. That had to be very difficult to engrave. Of course, I love all the colors as well. Since you guys were kind enough to wait an extra hour, I thought you deserved an extra note. So here's an extra Hamburg note. This one is a 50. Good old Sears again, the goddess of agriculture, with agricultural products around her in the central vignette. It's like a steamship maybe down here on the bottom. There's only one thing wrong with this note. It is counterfeit, which happened an awful lot in the 19th century. But these counterfeit notes are, just as collectible as the real ones in most cases. So I'm very happy to have this note. Again, I want to thank all of you for being here. I've enjoyed tonight, and I hope you have. Thank all of you again. Please like, subscribe, tell a friend, leave a comment, and thanks for stopping by.